This is the story of JoyPhil, 50 years of Joy Hayward and Phil Hofer, coming together, being together, loving together. First, a couple has to be born. My birth was boring. I was born alone between Richard and Steve, to Aegon and Naomi Hofer. Joy was born a twin to John Sr. and Josephine Hayward. Her brother John was 20 minutes older. You can see that he looks older here. They were both born before Ruth, Mark, and James. Before you get married, you go to school. I went to a country school near Dinuba, California, which is near Fresno. Joy's school was 7 miles away in Reedley. Yes, a mere 7 miles from each other. We both went to Emmanuel Academy in Reedley, a Mennonite school, although Joy spent a year at the local public high school. Joy's class at Emmanuel had some smart kids. She was not a valedictorian. She was not good in physical education, you see. My class had fewer smart kids, and I was a valedictorian. I was good at physical education. Joy went to Wheaton College in Illinois, a reputable evangelical Christian institution. I went to Fresno Pacific College, a recent startup college of the Mennonites. In 1967, just out of college, I went to Nigeria and spent 3 years teaching with the Mennonite Central Committee. After college, Joy went to Mexico and taught for almost 1 year before the missionaries asked her to leave. Short skirts, you know. Joy and I met in early 1972 as Joy returned from Mexico and I had recently returned from Nigeria. Joy's father was my doctor and he was the matchmaker. I called Joy and asked her to go out to dinner on my father's motorcycle. Knowing the damage motorcycles do to human bodies, Dr. Hayward hated them. But since he liked the idea of his daughter meeting me, he let his daughter date me on the motorcycle. We met in March and married in December 1972. Through that summer, while working in the grape fields, I compiled a list of yes, marry and no, don't marry. The yes, marries won, in part because of Joy's quirky mother. I liked the idea of an older, quirky Joy. We honeymooned overnight and settled in Fresno, where Joy taught while I worked on my master's degree, and then took a position at Fresno Pacific College. We lived in Fresno from 1972 to 1979. We lived on Kirchhoff Avenue, joining a group of Mennonites in a loosely intentional and very meaningful community. In late 1975, Joy started to get fat. Jeremy was born in 1976. His birth was both excruciating and exhilarating for Joy, and only exhilarating for me. I was a Lamaze-prepared father, Joy, a beautiful, life-giving mother. When we married, we knew we wanted to work abroad. In 1979, we went to Central America for 3 years. We studied Spanish in Costa Rica, and we worked in Guatemala. Emily was born in Guatemala in 1980. We experienced those years as vibrant, even as the cultural and political context was filled with tension and violence. Our work with the MCC placed us with heroes who fought the repression of their own government. Joy and I wrote and translated to educate North Americans about Central America. We returned to the U.S. in 1982. Joy took a position at the MCC headquarters near Lancaster, Pennsylvania. She wrote, interviewed, and traveled on behalf of MCC. I was a flexible parent, looking after Jeremy and Emily at home as I nurtured development of an interfaith organization advocating for Central American migrants. In 1987, we went to the Philippines as country representatives for the MCC program. We lived a year on the island of Mindanao and 3 years in Manila, directors of a program that placed Japanese, Canadian, and American volunteers with Filipino social and human rights organizations. In 1991, we moved back to Fresno. I returned to work at Fresno Pacific University, and Joy worked with refugee resettlement with the International Institute of Los Angeles. Joy began work at FPU as Public Relations Director. During this time, I battled a tree in the so-called friendly family football game. The tree may have won, but I did catch the pass. We enjoyed traveling within California. For our relationship, it was the most difficult time of our life together. Within that challenge, we continued to have connections to our church and community, and we were both involved with meaningful relationships with family and friends. Emily and Jeremy attended local schools. I left Fresno Pacific in early 1998, Joy in July, and we moved to Southern California. Our love for each other grew. I began work with international programs and services at the University of La Verne. Joy, after a year editing for a think tank at the Claremont Colleges, resumed work with the International Institute of Los Angeles. In 2001, Kali Butterfly was born to Christine, our to-be daughter-in-law. In 2004, Joy finished a master's degree in management and leadership at the University of La Verne. Geronimo was born in 2002 to Jeremy and Christine. His brother Joaquin was born 4 years later. No part of our relationship has been more meaningful than that of sharing in loving our children and our grandchildren. As we accompanied our children and grandchildren in the early and later 2000s, we also accompanied our parents, John and Josephine, and Agan and Naomi. We have never been happier than when we are traveling to places near and far. New Orleans, Crater Lake, Argentina, China, France. We traveled a number of times with Joy's sister and brother-in-law, Ruth and Vent Trailer. But wait, we have another grandchild, our fourth. In 2014, Jax was born to Emily. Emily and Jack's father, Joey, have co-parented Jax. Time sometimes allows families to shift, reorganize, and settle in new ways. Today, Emily has a household in Oakland. Her housemate CA and CA's children Nico and Cody are part of her family. they also are part of our family. Jeremy met Amy and her daughter Ruby, and today they share a household in Fresno that includes Geronimo and Joaquin. Sam, our oldest grandchild, the son of Christine, lives in San Francisco. Friendships have been important to us. We are grateful for the Fresno Kirchhoff friends. Joy and I hosted 9 of them in December, part of our 50th. In August, we spent 4 days with 2 friends from Pennsylvania, H.A. and Barbara Benner. They helped us raise our children, and this too was part of our 50th. In Seattle, we also gathered with Bev and Charles Lord, folks we traced to Fresno and Pennsylvania days. David and Leanne met us as we arrived in Laverne in 1998, wounded and ready to begin again. They have been nurturing friends. They invited us to share in a Mennonite house church and also welcomed us into a dining group. For 24 years, Feast of Friends has been a time of good food with some sharing, games, and laughter. Games and laughter have been important, and these friends represent that ingredient. Game night is a time for fun with food and sharing added. We are grateful for our family, including my cousins, my sister-in-law Betsy, and my brother Steve. In December, some of them celebrated our anniversary at a family gathering. Almost every week, Joy gathers with her siblings, John, Ruth, and James, and her sister-in-law Gail. During our time in Southern California, besides our earlier involvement with the Peace Mennonite House Church, Joy and I have found a home in the Laverne Church of the Brethren, in worship and learning, and in music and service. We are grateful for both of these faith communities. In 1998, we moved to Pilgrim Place, a senior community where we have developed friendships with many folks. Joy and I have been together 50 years because of friends and family like all of you who are with us tonight. We are grateful for the friendships of many. Most of all, we are grateful for each other. For the many years we have been blessed with the company, with the love of each other. We are thankful.